Look at one of the greatest goals I've seen on this ground. That's deliberate. That's majestic. Sheer brilliance. Sheer brilliance. That's all you can say about that piece of football from a talented footballer. Absolutely unsavable. Absolutely magnificent.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where or when you're listening to this. Welcome to Second Yellow, our footballing podcast where we get together and give you the latest football news, pull together teams, and many more. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that being said, let's get into it. Evening, lady and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Second Yellow. Back again. Last week was quite fun. I actually enjoyed editing all the laughs and stuff. You know how much laughing I had to edit out of that, by the way.
God, the first 5 minutes was just
I can imagine. It was literally just laughing.
I actually left some of the laughing in, but it was really good.
Yeah, you must. People need to know.
Joining me as always, but this week I'm gonna announce him first. Welcome back, Stuart, aka Mr. Senor Wenger.
Senor or Monsieur?
Same difference.
Monsieur.
Monsieur, of course. No, I'm not French, but how's it?
And Candy Kane, Alex Ferguson of football.
Hello. Good evening.
6 years voice in the business. The real Zidane, as he dubbed himself. Corentin, say what's up.
Yeah, how's it going?
And then last but not least, Iggs, just do yourself.
Hey guys.
Welcome back. So this,
Quarantine is not well.
No, I'm good.
yeah,
I'm good.
thanks. Thanks for coming on quarantine, despite your,
Yeah.
despite the hay fever. So this week we're building a Premier League underrated 11. We'll go through all our 11s individually, and then we'll see at the end if we can build a joint team. Or if there's too many fights, we'll just give up.
Just give up.
Just bear in mind, like we were speaking beforehand, these are players that we feel have been underrated in their particular positions, and we'll give a couple of arguments to back it up, unless we just don't have an argument and we like a player. So Iggs, don't pick Ricardo Fuller, okay?
I like it. Anyway,
He's quite good, actually.
Liam will take Obi Mikel for sure.
Finally, you can get John over here. Actually, I do have a couple of African. I do. I stole a couple.
One African.
I stole one or
had
two
one.
from last week.
mentions, but I don't have any Africans.
No,
I had
I stole
one
one.
African, maybe.
Yeah, I did steal two from last week that we spoke about.
I didn't take
But,
anyone from last week because I thought that, we didn't underrate them because that's why they were there. I don't know.
Yeah,
No,
fair
but
enough.
African. They're the
Yeah.
best Africans
Yeah.
in those positions.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
doesn't
true,
mean
true,
that
true.
they underrated.
They were not
Yeah,
rated.
true.
They were just
'Cause-
because they like a lot of them wouldn't make a Premier League team or even like the top 3 Premier League teams. I'm sure.
Like
there
all
are
of
some
our
underrated players there. Absolutely.
all of our left backs is not making anywhere near my top 20 left backs in the Premier League of all time.
Oh, I
But
have my left back.
I digress. That's facts.
But yes,
I digress. Candice, can
Cool.
you kick us off this week? We'll go position by position. Goalkeeper, then centre
Okay,
back.
so goalkeeper,
back.
I actually have a lot of Irishmen in this underrated. Obviously, the British just don't like the Irish. My goalkeeper was underrated. I had Shay Given. I feel that he came at a time where he had these sometimes physics-defined saves I can remember from him. But yeah, he was always not seen as good as Schmeichel or as good as Seaman or as good as Van der Sar or whatnot. And he was 6 foot tall. He dominated the box. And I just think Shay Given was not given the respect he deserved probably as a goalkeeper.
Pun intended.
Yeah, pun intended.
No, I agree 100%. I went with Shay Given as well. I think it's also the fact that the team he played in, the Newcastle defense didn't help him all that much. He did play for City as well, but obviously not in the Manchester City of today.
Yes, exactly.
But no, I thought he was a fantastic goalkeeper. It was hard for me to pick out. I got 3 goalkeepers actually, but yeah, in terms of underrated, I'll definitely go Shea Given. Corentin, who did you go with?
I pick Lehman. For me, was a bit underrating. Yeah, Lens. Yeah,
Lens Yeaman.
yeah. He's the only.
Interesting.
I took him because he's the only player that play all the game for the Invincible season. And being a German goalkeeper at this period, when you had Oliver Kahn, obviously that was dominating, you never heard about him as you should heard of him. He have really bad. So I started in Schalke after very bad in Milan, where he played only 6 games. After he went for Dortmund at this year, so he did until 2003. They weren't that great. And after first season, playing first position in Arsenal, Invincibles. So I think we don't speak enough
That's not a
about it.
bad. It's not a bad jump. No. And
I
I
agree. I don't think
Seaman was not part of that team, was he?
No,
Was Seaman?
Siemens lost the last Premier League trophy was the 2001-2002 season.
So I mean, it's not a bad step up at all to come from like nothing at Dortmund and then your first season.
Yeah.
Invincibles.
Not the Dortmund we knew from today either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely not the Dortmund.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I tend to agree. I had a little flirt with Lehman. I just didn't think that his appearances backed up the sort of underrated factor, because I don't think he played long enough in the Premier League for me to consider him to be somebody that was either overhyped or underrated or great or anything like that. But good player. I was thinking about Shea Given, but I just thought that everybody's going to go with Shea Given because he's the obvious choice. So I actually went with Brad Friedel.
Nice.
I think because he played in some, not such great teams either.
But I floated with Brad Friedel.
Also got tons of appearances, tons of clean sheets. Played for a number of clubs. I mean, I think.
Are you putting Brad Friedel because you put Brad Friedel because you think he's better and more overrated than Shea Given, or just because you want it to be different? Do you know what I mean?
I think he's more underrated than Shea Given. I think a lot of people give Shea Given props still. I think if we look back a couple of weeks ago and we did the Premier League team that's never won a trophy, Given was like the number 1 choice for most people, if not everybody, I believe. So you can't really say that he was that underrated if he's going to be a number 1 choice goalkeeper. Oh no, Reina was the number 1 choice, but Shea Given came up in everybody's conversation.
Very close, yeah.
So I don't think that he was, as Candice put, given the enough props in the era that he was in, with the likes of Schmeichel and Van der Sar and all them boys, Seaman, whatever. But Friedel, I mean, he was there forever. He played to way over his 40s. He was his own agent. He was his own manager. He decided the moves. He decided the contracts and everything. And I thought he was very underrated as a goalkeeper.
I think
Brad Friedel was my second choice. I'm not gonna bet. I did also float with Brad Friedel. I just think that both of them, compared to someone like Lehman, had not the strongest defense in front of them.
Yeah.
And both compared to Lehman, definitely. I always think of this when I think about the 3 top Manchester United goalkeepers as well. No one ever gives De Gea as much credit, but De Gea plays with complete nonsense in front of him. Do you know what I mean? Where Schmeichel and Van der Sar have always had top quality centre backs in front of them. And I think that was the difference between maybe Jens Lehmann and Given or Brad Friedel. They didn't have that top quality consistency in front of them week in and week out.
I like Brad
the only
Friedel.
reason I
De
went
Gea
with
is underrated or overrated?
I do. I think De Gea is underrated due to the fact that he does what he does with who is in front of him. I don't think that Schmeichel or Van der Sar could have done it as well. Technically wise, I think De Gea is a better shot stopper than either.
Yeah.
I don't think he commands his box as good as the other two. At times, he's gotten better at it. But technically, I think talent-wise, De Gea is a better talented goalkeeper. The way he uses his feet, the way he is I don't think I've seen a goalkeeper use their feet better than
Schmeichel
David De
used
Gea.
his face,
Yeah,
his
he's
arm,
Oh,
whatever he could.
feet as in saves. His feet.
yeah,
Making
saves. Yeah, as in making saves.
I was gonna say
But
because I
anyway,
can name
back.
2 right now that are better than
No,
him.
no, I don't mean no. I mean feet making saves. But that's kind of how I thought about it when I looked at this one, and that's also Lehman was also definitely someone I looked at. I just thought that he always had better defenders in front of him, so he didn't
True.
always show maybe what he was worth as a goalkeeper. Goalkeepers, you get your best out of a goalkeeper when actually they have nonsense in front of them. I'd like to use other words, but I'm trying to be PG here, Monet. So, and that's
Please
when you
do.
get your best, and that's when you see the talent as a goalkeeper when they have terrible players in front of them. Your talent as
True.
a goalkeeper doesn't shine when you have the best centre back. Who did you go with, Liam?
Eggs, yeah.
I went with Kaspar Schmeichel.
Yeah.
Like that pick. Kasper Schmeichel came really close. The only thing for me about Kasper that took me out of it is the fact that he's won the Premier League.
Yeah.
I
but
know.
he
Well,
can be
I
underrated
do.
in
No,
the Premier
that's
League.
fair. Yeah, that's
I
fair.
think-
I do have some players, yeah, that have won the Premier League in my team also. But the thing with, I think Schmeichel was an important part of that Premier League winning team.
But the
I
reason
do.
why I'm saying underrated is because it took, I guess, them to win the Premier League for people to understand how rated he is as a goalkeeper.
Fair enough,
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, Liam, I agree. I think if Peter Schmeichel wasn't Kasper Schmeichel's father, he'd be a lot more rated.
Yeah,
I think they're underrated because of his father.
it's hard to live up to your father's
Yeah.
footsteps. So you're automatically put
Exactly.
down already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's already like 10 steps behind everyone else in people's eyes because of who his father is.
Like,
But
there's
I
no.
think
Do you know how many players there are in the world? Yeah, sorry, that
yeah,
have like a dad as an athlete and are seen to be better than him. It's so hard. There's the only
it
one
must
person
be.
that actually ever done it was probably Steph Curry, and his dad wasn't the greatest player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Maldinis as well, maybe. I would say the Maldinis probably too.
Yeah, but his dad as well was had a lot of accolades, so it was tough.
Yeah, exactly. They both did.
Mm. That's interesting. I did flirt with Kasper Schmeichel. I looked a lot at that Leicester team that won the league. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
also
good
did.
pick. Good
I
pick
hope you're not-
indeed.
I hope you're not gonna add Wes Morgan to your squad just because you.
What are you talking about?
Robert
Where's
Booth,
where's
James Morgan,
No, they
of
done
course.
their thing.
Yeah.
But
James, like all of them are coming into that squad. Vardy, I don't know. But no, my squad is. I tried not to keep it recent. I tried to look elsewhere. But yeah, I do have in like my second and my third teams. I do have more recent players. But let's continue. Anyway, it's interesting. I think all of the goalkeepers were definitely underrated. Like out of the ones we mentioned.
With goalkeepers, you always get like in a maybe half a decade to a decade, you get the top like 3 or 4 that everybody's just going to go the best of the best of the best because they're in the best teams and they win the trophies
Yeah.
and they're in the finals and they're Champions League and whatever. And then it's the ones that are, you know, consistently like playing week in, week out for their team, doing the best that they can, not making extreme howlers or giving away stupid goals or anything like that get overlooked. I think Schmeichel's Kasper is definitely one of them. I think Given is one of them. Friedel's one of them. You see Jaskalainen's one of them.
Mark Schwarzer even.
Solid, yeah, Schwarzer, definitely. They're just solid goalkeepers that didn't do anything spectacular, but didn't fault their team in any way or, you know, give a bad name for themselves. They were consistently
Definitely
with
every
decent teams around them.
Yeah, every era has had like
Nigel
2 or 3
Martin as well.
major.
Thomas Sorensen was another name. I thought Thomas
Sorensen
Sorensen
was,
also,
yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, he's not there then. He's not there then.
Corentin, did you go, what formation did you go? 4-4-2,
No, I
4-3?
did. I went 4-3-3 this time.
Wow, unbelievable.
Like classic.
Yo, I thought Wenger
That's-
never changed his formation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So one of my defender, central back, I put Koscielny.
Koscielny,
Oh.
Lawrence Koscielny.
Laurent
Oh
Koscielny.
wow, I didn't.
Laurent.
Mm-mm. And like it's a guy. Unfortunately for him, every time that Arsenal or the French team have a big game, a big game, or he's getting injured, or he's doing stupid things. So
Yeah.
with the French team, when we're playing the playoff for the World Cup against Ukraine, the guy were already 1-0 down, and the guy like at the 90 minute did a red card, but like something nasty. So obviously Ukraine scored, so we were 2-0 down for the first legs. Against Arsenal, every time that we have a final, semi-final, he's getting injured badly. So you don't know if it's like not in purpose, but I think he can't handle big game. But
I
other
think
than
he's
that,
doing it on
Handle
purpose.
pressure. No,
But
I always
I'm-
think
No,
this.
yeah.
Whenever
But-
he goes down injured, I always think to myself, he's done this on purpose. Like he's
On purpose,
he's
yes.
overexerted. He's overexerted
Yes.
the injury. It could
But
be
other-
a little bit of a niggle on the knee, but he's
Yeah.
going to pull out and say that it's worse than what it actually is, so that
But-
he
I
doesn't
think his
get blamed if
mentality-
Arsenal
yeah.
shank him. His mentality.
But,
I
but next
also-
to that, yeah,
No.
next to that, I'm agree. And next to that, I mean, when he was in Arsenal, unfortunately, it wasn't the greatest year that we had, and he was he was the man of the defense. Since he
Yeah,
left,
he was.
since he left, we never had a strong defender like him. Even if he wasn't the strongest, he was still a strong defender.
I feel like he didn't have that mentality. Like he didn't have that mental strength to rise above his anxiety or whatnot and say, you know, I can do this. I can believe in myself. And like Stuart says, I think when he went down, it was more like, I'm going to play this a little bit.
I definitely think like he was, like you said, I think he was Arsenal's in that sort of area that he played. He was your best defender. And
Yeah.
now that I
Well, that's
think of
not
it,
saying much.
and now, yeah, no, I'm just not saying
Not
much,
having
but
news.
but now that I'm thinking, wait for later. No, I'm kidding. But now that I'm
Later,
thinking
as in
of
the
it,
most overrated players in the Premier League.
but thinking about it, all the games, Iggs mentioned it last week, like the amount of times that Drogba like broke Arsenal hearts. I don't remember like Drogba going 1-on-1 with Koscielny in a lot of games, and we played each other a lot
Yeah.
over like a 6-7 year period. So like he was gone for the big games, or either or he just went missing during the games,
Yeah.
or Drogba
Yeah.
just trampled him.
I remember Hazard like juking him and him going on the floor, like flat on his arse, and Hazard scoring against us.
Yeah, but
He
it's like
just
you
was
remember,
he
you
just
remember
wasn't
Stuart,
suited for big occasions.
semi-final against Atletico. After 10 minutes, the Achilles are done.
Yeah, I don't know. He just went down. Like there was no challenge. There was nobody around him.
Yeah, he went down
just
alone.
like he just gotten beaten, and I think Griezmann just missed the goal, or was a
Yeah.
save or something, and then we cleared it, and all of a sudden there's Koscielny on the floor going, I'm
Yeah.
not going to face this guy for another 80 minutes. I'm out. And then we have to bring on somebody like Rob Holding, who is
so underrated.
oh my God.
Well, I don't want to defend him, but man, he have a good beginning of season.
Yeah, he
season-
actually did before he got
This
injured.
season, before he get injured, he was better than he never been with Arsenal.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
difficult to be
when
worse.
when he came on for Arsenal, he came on too young. He came on too inexperienced, too young, and too big of an occasion.
I'm
And that
even
kinda
not sure the
dated
guy
him
was a
little
defender
bit.
when he came. I'm sure he was playing another position. He cannot be that bad.
Who?
Holding.
Holding. Oh, I was
Man,
just talking about Cole
I-
Jenkinson, because that
Man,
guy, I don't know how he
oh
gets
my
paid
God.
to play football.
I
I don't know how
Yeah.
he gets paid to play football. I really
Mone,
don't.
Mone, you saw Stuart tackling when we were playing against the Arrow guys. Even Stuart
Yeah.
was better than Holding, man. I'm sure he still have this. I'm sure he still have the mark of this tackle. The grass was so dry. Jesus.
Yeah.
Corentin, who was your
Anybody
other
that
centre
knows me
back?
knows that I'm not. I'm not at all technical. I'm just hard.
Who was your other? Sorry, Hart. Who was
My
your
other
other?
Lindelof.
Yeah,
Really?
Lindelof. Really?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You
No.
really like him?
No, it's not. I don't like him. For me,
No, I say you really like him.
No, it's not. I love him, but I mean, this year, especially this season, he had some really good game with Man United.
Yeah, he did.
Let's be
But
honest.
I don't think he's played enough, but I definitely think he might be underrated in time.
Yeah, for
Wait,
me, he's underrated.
Le Bleu. The topic for this week is underrated, not overrated.
Oh my god.
Listen, leave the Iceman alone, man.
The ice. Iggs, you were uncharacteristically quiet. Who was your
Yeah.
two
Lindelof.
centre backs?
Yeah, put Lindelof here.
My centre backs I went with was Ledley King, of course.
Oh
I
yeah.
think he gets forgotten because of the injuries to his career and whatnot. But if it wasn't for that, he probably would have been up there with one of the greatest. Probably would have left Tottenham as well because they're not great. And my other centre back was Ricardo Carvalho because I feel like
Yes,
Chelsea,
amen.
No.
no. I
Yeah.
think under Chelsea, everyone always thinks about Mourinho defensive, and they always say Terry. Actually, Carvalho is one of the most important players that Mourinho signed at that era. With
Can I
Paulo
just
Ferreira,
interject there?
etc.,
You said exactly what I was. I picked Ricardo Carvalho as one of my
also
centre
picked
backs.
Ricardo Carvalho as one of my centre backs.
And the thing is, everybody
same
we
reason.
spoke about all-time Premier League,
Mm.
and I know he didn't spend as much time in the Premier League. We spoke about Terry's, the Vidic's. Yes, they're all class, but I think a lot that made Terry as good as he was having Carvalho next to him.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Terry
also
did
agree
all
with
the
you.
dirty work, and Carvalho
Yes.
swept behind him, but he wasn't afraid to tackle. He was good in the air for a guy. Well, he wasn't as big as Terry, but he didn't seem like a centre back. But he
I agree.
definitely
I had
got his
Carvalho
work.
as well. He was definitely the most underrated signing of Jose's era, I think. There's another one. I have two actually, but he was one of them.
Yeah, go Corentin.
Carvalho play. I mean, he play only in easy team. He play in Porto in Portugal. That there's only one team in Portugal. After he went to Chelsea from 2004 2010, when it was like the best time in Chelsea. After he moved to Madrid, so Madrid easy. After he moved to Monaco, before that, all the Qatari came to invest money in Paris. So Lyon was going down. It was two teams. He never he really play with let's say in easy situation.
But not
look at Porto. He won the Champions League
with
a
bad Porto team.
And it's not like he went to Chelsea as a mega team already. He went to a decent Chelsea team. He literally went with Mourinho and said, "Okay, we're going to dominate this league for the next 2 years." So it wasn't. Chelsea wasn't already made. They weren't already made.
He was in the squad that won Euro. Yeah, but he was in the squad that won Euro 2016 too. So it's not that he was terrible.
He was in that squad.
Player. Yeah, he was in that squad.
I swear down.
Yeah, but he was aging, but he was definitely part of that.
Yeah, he was part of the squad.
No, he seems like he's been around forever.
Bruno Alves would say he probably was there. That Portuguese defense was the oldest I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, Bruno Alves, how that guy, I mean, that guy is like the one shade away from being African.
Candice, who was your other centre back?
I had four centre backs, but I ultimately went with Carvalho and King, but I had Sammy Hypier and Johnny Evans as well.
Johnny Evans, you lost me with Johnny Evans, but
Johnny Evans.
Yeah, I think Johnny Evans is. And I told you, there's a lot of underrated Irishmen in this Premier League, and I'm getting there.
Johnny Evans is good, you know.
I am not done with the Irishmen yet. There's still a couple more, but so they were in it. But I ultimately went with Carvalho and King. But I thought Sammy Hypier was also very underrated.
I thought
but
about
Evans
him too, but that Liverpool defense wasn't all that at the same time.
I do think Johnny Evans is definitely underrated. He basically won. How many players win the league with two different clubs?
Johnny Evans.
N'Golo Kante, back to back.
N'Golo Kante.
Was he there with Leicester when they won it?
Who? Kante?
No.
Oh, Johnny Evans.
No,
yeah.
Evans. Yeah, he was.
No,
Wait.
No, it wasn't.
No, he
No,
wasn't.
it
He wasn't. Was
No, he
was
wasn't.
Morgan
He
and Huth.
wasn't. It was Morgan and
Morgan
Huth.
and
Yeah,
Huth
it
was
was
a
more.
double.
Yeah, it was more.
must have been like West Brom enjoying life.
But like I think, but now that you can see, I think I appreciate Evans more now that he plays for Leicester than I did when he played for United. And
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
never. Johnny Evans was definitely not the worst of United centre backs in the last couple of years.
He
Because
was
I'm
the
looking at
easiest
you,
to get
Phil
rid of.
Jones. But
He was
I,
at West Brom for like 3 years,
but I do
Yeah.
and then
think
they
Johnny
got
Evans was
relegated with
sometimes.
him.
I do think Evans is someone that it's easy to pick on. I feel that the media just look and I sometimes feel the media find someone and they stay with it, and that's tough. You're never going to change some of their minds on certain players, and I feel like Evans is one of them.
I don't think Evans is rubbish. Like, I
No,
mean,
but
if we're gonna go with rubbish, then there's a lot of other Man United players that I can choose from.
there's a lot of Arsenal ones too. But yeah, anyway, I didn't go with Evans. I went with
A
King
whole lot of
and
Arsenal players.
Carvalho. I went with King, Carvalho, and then and Sami Hyypiä. I think Sami Hyypiä was really underrated for Liverpool too. He
I
was
think
in a very
Carragher was
difficult.
underrated.
Carragher was immensely under. I know a couple of weeks ago, I talked him down a lot, or a few of us did.
You did.
And
You did.
and
I think Carragher's super underrated. I think
and when I look,
he's done
yeah.
with Liverpool to play 500 and whatever games, 508 I think it was, games for Liverpool, who have never been considered a rubbish team or a mediocre team or a mid-table team. They've always been up there with the threats for the Premier League, not to win it because they just don't know how to cross the line, but they've always been a threat.
Yeah.
Like Man United don't go to Anfield thinking this is going to be a walkover, even
No,
if
never.
Liverpool is sitting 7th or 8th in the league.
Yeah. Agree.
And
But
Carragher was a huge part of that, and he
I
was
do think
solidly
Carragher lasted
underrated.
longer, Stuart, because he was a scout. If Carragher was anything else, he wouldn't have lasted that long at that club. I think Sami Hyypiä was a better defender all round than Carragher.
Okay, I agree with you. I think from a distribution point of view, I think better speed, little bit better. I mean, he still ran like a donkey, but I think Carragher. I mean, he's not in my team, but you guys talking about Sami Hyypiä and stuff like that. I do think Carragher is underrated. I went with
I
King,
definitely think so too. But
because I
Yeah,
think
go.
King is.
yeah,
I mean, I've
I
said
don't
this
know
a
who
couple
else
of
went for
weeks
King.
ago. I think I went with him for. I think it was Premier League that hadn't won a league or Premier League of all time. I can't remember, but I definitely had a lot of good things to say about King, which is weird because he is an up and out Tottenham boy, and I'm a big Arsenal fan. So for me to even talk about this is difficult. But he is solidly the most underrated centre back because of his injuries, like Ig said. It kind of like people forget about him, but he was so good when he could play every once every 2-3 weeks or whatever. He was solid, and if it wasn't for his knees giving up on him at like the age of 10, then I think he would have had close to 500 games in the Prem, if not more. He would have gone to a bigger club. He would have won Premier League titles, and he would have had easily close to 100 caps for England. And I think him and Terry would have formed quite a good partnership, and it would have been tough to pick between King, Terry, and Ferdinand, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think I would probably go
special
King and
mention.
Ferdinand.
Stuart, who's the other centre back?
Carvalho.
Ricardo
okay.
Carvalho. Oh
So
wow.
we all had. And you, Corentin?
No, Corentin had Koscielny and Lindelof.
Oh yeah, Corentin. Yeah. So who didn't? So did we? So other than Corentin, did we all have Carvalho?
Carvalho and King. All of us.
Yeah.
I had Carvalho and King.
I went with him over Carragher just because I do think that he wasn't given enough recognition in that Chelsea team. And he was incredible, and he was always playing. He played 90 minutes most games, if not all games. Always somebody that you could rely on. He was solid, very very solid, very underrated.
Iggs, you want to go with left back and right back? Give both of them for us.
Right back. Ooh. So I've got two things. When it comes to left back, I liked Wayne Bridge a lot.
Yeah.
I really did. Who's laughing? What's wrong with you?
Nobody's laughing.
I thought someone was laughing.
That
I
was-
thought someone was laughing.
That was me. That was my hee. Yeah, carry on.
She's chuckling in the background.
I liked Wayne Bridge a lot. I also liked Ashoka. I'm joking. No. I think I had another left back. I can't remember. I recall again. And right back, I went with Raphael. You know, At Man
Raphael.
United, yeah.
Good pick.
At that stage
Yeah.
when we won the league 3 times in a row, he was
Yeah.
very vital to what we was doing. As someone mentioned about Wes Brown doing his thing, he got injured. And once he got injured, Gary Neville's legs was gone and he was about to retire. Our Brazilian right back stood up, and
Yeah.
he was awesome for us for about 3-4 years. So I
Yeah.
went with him at right back.
Until a right winger took over for him.
Yeah.
I
Thriller.
yeah. I agree with Wayne Bridge. I'm a bit dubious, but it's personal opinion. I'm a bit dubious
I
on
think Wayne
Raphael.
Bridge was overrated. The fact that he was at
Yeah, me
Chelsea and
too.
then City
Nah.
bought him. He was overrated.
I feel Wayne Bridge
City
was
Remember,
also
he played for
overrated.
England. He played for England too.
No,
Yeah.
but that anybody that plays for
Lots
England's
of people
overrated.
play for England.
Ashley Cole,
but yeah,
John Terry, Frank Lampard. Just to
I
name a
didn't
few.
say everyone.
Oh, okay.
He did.
Okay.
But
Okay.
there's a lot of overrated
Thanks,
players,
Corentin.
especially English. English players are the most overrated in the Premier League. That's why when clubs come looking at an English player, their price goes from like 50 mil to 80 mil as opposed to a foreign player for some reason. I don't understand why, but I think English players are
Homegrown.
overrated.
Andy Carroll went for 35 million. I'm just saying.
Overrated. Massively
overrated.
overrated.
Yeah, massively.
I
Anyway.
think Bridge was
He's
overrated.
my striker.
I think Bridge was overrated.
Andy Carroll over Peter Crouch as an underrated English striker.
Candice,
Yeah.
Stuart, go with your left and right back. Sorry.
Okay, my right back was Dixon, Lee Dixon. I thought he was very underrated in that Arsenal team with the likes of Winterburn and obviously Adams and Keown. They were like the main oaks. I think Dixon was always just looked at as like just somebody tagging along, but I thought he was solid. He was a solid right back, good at going forward. He's got 19 assists in the Prem, 305 games, 2 Premier League titles, but very much under the radar. Nobody puts him in Arsenal's best team of all time. Nobody puts him in any Prem team. I thought Lee Dixon was underrated.
Enough. Your right back? Oh, sorry, left back?
Left back. Ooh. I was toying with Irwin, because I don't think a lot of people, as Candice alluded to,
like
in the
all
first
of you,
week, that he was like. I mean, I underrated him massively. Like I thought, Ashley Cole's a stitch. Absolutely, there's no other player like Ashley Cole left back position in the Prem ever. And then Candice kind of threw a spin in the works there with Dennis Irwin. And I think looking back, I think a lot of people are going to have the same mentality as what I did and what a lot of other people did, is we forget about Irwin because of who Man United had at the back with Bruce and Pallister and Neville and whatever.
He wasn't that outspoken player like them. He just did his job.
Yeah. I think for somebody that's won 7 Premier League titles, and like I think only Candice knew that. None of us knew that he had won 7 Premier League titles.
I didn't at all.
I went with Irwin as the most underrated left back in Prem history.
Fair enough. I can't. I'm not gonna send Candice on a trip by disputing Owen.
No, I went with Owen too.
You went with Dennis Owen. Candice, who's your right back then?
I kind of had a whole Irish 11, to be honest. I went with Dennis Owen and I went with Stephen Carr at right back.
Steve Carr.
I just feel Stephen Carr had a good, solid career. It wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't terrible either. He played for Newcastle. He played long for Tottenham as well. He had a spell at Birmingham. I just don't feel that he gets that notice. Yeah, I suppose maybe not as great as some of the other right backs. I mean, I say great wise, but he was dependable. I
Yeah.
think if at that stage, they had Stephen Carr in the team, he's probably one of the first names on the team sheet because he's dependable. But I don't think he got the love. I mean, he's not as great as Dennis Irwin. He probably didn't win as many things as Dennis Irwin, obviously, but he was
Or
definitely
Dixon,
Mr.
or
Dependable.
anything. He hasn't won
Yeah,
anything because
yeah,
he's at
he didn't
Tottenham.
win anything. Yeah, but Tottenham, Birmingham, and Newcastle doesn't exactly leave much for space for trophies. But yeah, I think he was underrated. He had
Fun fact.
377 appearances, only scored 8 goals. We kept
Well,
8
he's a right back.
clean sheets, which isn't too bad. But yeah, so I went with Stephen Carr for no
Fun
other reason
fact.
that no other reason than I just thought that he was definitely underrated.
He was the number 2 on the all-time underrated players. So
Really?
yeah,
Oh.
Stephen Carr, which
Who
is a
was
bit
number one?
crazy, but
Who was number
that
one?
we will find out later.
Oh, okay.
Find out
okay.
next time on. No,
And
it was actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Don't know who wrote the piece, but
I had him.
yeah.
I mean, I do.
But
yeah, let's
Corentin,
carry on.
last but no, well, no, I still need to go. But Corentin, who's your left and right back?
Right, I put like Liam, Raphael,
Okay.
and left I put I mean, is as a Frenchman that because in his club he was amazing.
You know what?
But-
When you said right back Liam, yeah, I was like, what? You put me in your team? I was like, what? You put me in your team? Fair enough. To be fair.
my left back I put Patrice Evra.
Patrice Evra. I
Very-
actually
I don't think
debated a
he is
lot.
underrated.
I mean, in France, you can't imagine how underrated he is. He's one
I think Clichy is more underrated than Evra.
That's way more.
No,
Clichy's
that's fine.
Rubbish, you man. 325 games, 115 clean sheets, and 3 Premier League titles.
Yeah, but Clichy never. He did well in England, but he never played for the French national team.
Because
never-
there was Evra who was rated, and
Which was
Clichy
better.
was underrated.
Was rated.
That's why he didn't
No.
play.
Clichy was dead. Clichy was dead.
I'm
No,
sorry.
no.
That's a good way of looking at it, Stuart. I'm sorry because he was rated against the
I
underrated.
I'm actually gonna agree with Corentin. I think Patrice Evra was underrated.
I
You
also
you
thought
didn't
so,
hear
at one
much of
stage.
him. Like
Unless he
you
was being
didn't.
racially abused.
He
Or
was
fly
sort of
kicking his own fans.
yeah, something like that. He was sort of under that, but he learned that from Cantona.
Patrice
he's
Evra definitely wasn't underrated by United fans. United fans love Patrice Evra is a cult
Yeah.
hero. Like I
Yeah,
don't
but-
think he was
yeah, but
underrated
because
by
he's-
United fans.
because he's player from your club.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
some of your
But
own.
what
I
I'm
can.
saying
I
is, in
definitely
France-
underrated some of my own players.
In France, even to be underrated, he's hated by everyone. Everyone in France hate him because he has
Yeah,
such
but-
a good career, in England. And after what happened in 2010 during the World Cup, that people say it's his fault and everything, he's so underrated, so underrated.
There wasn't many
Yeah.
French United players. There weren't many French United players that the French people actually liked. They didn't like Barthez. They didn't like Laurent Blanc.
They
didn't
like
like
Barthez.
Patrice Evra.
No, they like Barthez.
They definitely didn't like Eric Cantona. So
No,
when you're
Eric
French,
They
Cantona-
you
like
come to
Barthez
United.
up until Roberto Carlos scored that goal against him, and then they started
Yeah,
hating
that's
him.
exactly
No,
Was
what
it-
I thought of Stuart.
They like
Stuart's
they
exactly
like
what I thought.
they like Cantona. The person that doesn't like Cantona is the person from the
Well, the
federation, the French Football
Yeah.
Federation, because he throw after he throw the French jersey on the floor and he jump on it.
Yeah,
If he would have done that with the United jersey, he would have been dead the day after.
you probably wanted
I agree.
No, I just think Patrice Evra. Maybe it's to United fan. Patrice Evra wasn't underrated. I think in general.
I'm not a
world
United
football.
fan, and I didn't
But-
think he was
Yeah,
underrated.
fair
I
enough.
thought,
But some people
Two
some people
two
say
vers-
that he was one of the best,
two versus
one of
one.
his best position. Some people say that he was one of the best left back in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He won few times the best left back in the Premier League. He won twice,
Mhm.
I think, 2 times.
Twice.
so
Yeah.
how's that underrated? This is my argument.
No,
here.
but
No, I'm saying
you
I'm saying as a French person and what you hear in French newspaper, Patrice Evra didn't do nothing in his career. He went to Man
No,
but
United. He went title with a team.
L'équipe.
No, yeah, other. I don't want to do any publicity.
we are multinational here on second yellow.
No, I knew
Um,
that. What I mean is, for example, when he went to Marseille, you know, if for example this guy was coming to play for Lyon, I would have said, fine, yeah, we have someone coming, Premier League, won the title, won the Champions League, play for and against the best players in the world, and I will be excited. People in Marseille will say, yeah, Patrice Evra is coming, he's old, he haven't done anything. We didn't go far in the World Cup 2010 because he was playing around with the guys, and at the end
yeah,
he got to his head, and he high kick one guy.
Yeah, I remember that. Before the game even
Mm.
started, he got a
Yeah.
red card in the
He took
Champions
a red
League. That
card,
was
yeah.
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
The referee have
But
to
look-
go from the locker room to give him a red card.
I think what you're looking at from Evra is that people didn't like him because of how he was and his personality and his aggression and his reactions and that kind of thing. I don't think people didn't like him as a
But
player.
he wasn't like
I just
that with
think they
anyone
didn't
but
like
Luis
him.
Suarez, and he was justified to be like that.
Yeah,
Where was he ever else over the top? He
But how
wasn't
can you
ever.
not love Evra though?
He was French, and French
I
came.
love this game.
Yeah, he was French. I watched his game with like the best. He makes my life. Stuart, I don't think he was ever really over the top anywhere until what happened with Luis Suarez, and he had all the reason to act like he did afterwards.
Yeah.
Especially
No,
since
like
up until this day.
the 2010 World Cup. Let's be honest, he
that
he
was
a big
way
part of
before.
Yeah,
why
but we
they
never
all
know.
walked.
We never know what happened. People say
Nobody
Yeah.
knows. Yeah,
Sanelka. I mean, until
Anelka and him
The-
were the
the-
instigators.
but the thing is, this guy Evra, we don't know if he's him or if he's not him, but he has the courage to go on the biggest TV show in France and to apologize, to say what
Yeah.
we did. He didn't say what Ty did. He said what we did, or as like he's the only guy in this group that have the balls to go out and say we did something bad. We apologize. We look
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stupid. And
Yes.
he took all
I
the
agree with that.
responsibility
He
for
took
it.
responsibility. I agree with Corentin. He did take responsibility, and that's why I say French, and maybe Corentin can back me up. But the French are a little bit temperamental at times, and I think
At times.
what I think what makes the
Corentin.
play. Yeah, Corentin, am I right?
Finish. I will talk after.
But I feel he's right. He did take responsibility for that when no one else did. And I don't feel many times, he's very passionate. You get some players, especially with United, some foreign players get United. And they could have been Manc. And I think Patrice Evra was definitely one of those. He could have been Manchester born. And that's why I say I don't think he was underrated with our fans. And I don't think he was necessarily over the top many times. The
But I would
one
say
time where he
wasn't
was
underrated in England in general.
in the rest of the world.
That was the thing. But as you say, Candice, about French people, is completely right. Look, when Zidane put Materazzi on the floor, thereafter you have people hating Zidane. How can you hate Zidane? It's impossible.
Did he cost you a World Cup?
Yeah,
But he make us win one as
But
well.
you-
He scored 2 goals against Brazil in 1998.
yeah.
He bring us to the final 2006. I was seeing what he did to Brazil, what he did to Spain. I think 2006 was his best World Cup. And
I could
Yeah, it
never
was
get
better.
to that.
It was better than the '98. But
Yeah.
anywho, I'm gonna
The
finish
98, I
off.
think he still had hair, didn't he?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, but
No, I still
He
have
had
the
a
patch.
ball patch. He had his ball patch.
I think he was a bit shy and not confident because of the ball patch, in my point of view.
my left back and right back's completely different to anything that anybody's picked. The first one, I almost picked Wayne. No, I should have put Dave in here. I almost put Wayne Bridge, but I went with Graham Lasso. He's won he has a good record in the Premier League, good clean sheets.
He won a Premier League with Blackburn.
2/3 ratio.
True.
Yeah, he won a Premier League, but how many people talk about Graham Lasso? I rest my case.
I think he's underrated.
So, and the other one from Liverpool was Steve Finnan. Can play right and left back.
You know, if you win the Premier League, it doesn't automatically mean
Yeah.
you should be rated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Stephen
No, I
Finnan.
agree. I got Irwin, who's won 7.
Yeah,
I just wanted Mornay to know that he didn't win a Premier League with Chelsea. That's it.
No, he was. Oh, I knew you were rubbing it in, but
That's all I wanted to know.
I tried to
That's all I
deflect.
wanted to know.
Let's move on to midfielders. Um, I'll start this one off because I went last the last couple of times. So I went with midfield 4 for the first time.
Ooh,
Yeah,
taking
can you
taking
beat it?
example from the base.
It's a weird midfield 4, but these are I'm gonna run through them, and then if you guys want to shout at me or discuss anything. But the first midfielder I went Czech Tiote from Newcastle. I thought he was really good in that defensive role. The other one was another sort of defensive midfielder, Ramirez from Chelsea. I don't think he was given enough praise for what he'd done, and I think he left the Premier League way too early. The other one's Damien Duff, and last but not least, Bobby Perez. I think from that
Robert.
invincible,
Nah, I think Perez wasn't underrated.
I
don't
think he
was
was
underrated
so.
at all.
Look
think
at
he
that
was.
team.
Yeah, but then I
A
think
lot of
Everything,
people
I
rate
think
all
you're
the
looking
talk,
about it from an
all the
Arsenal
talk.
fan. You
Yeah,
Arsenal fans rated him.
all
I
the
think he was
talk
underrated.
was
I
yeah,
didn't
all the
respect him for a
talk
while.
was always about Vieira, always about Henry, always about Bergkamp. Even your back 4 was always getting praised. It like and Perez and I think Ljungberg equally. The two of them,
Well, you
what
can
they
shut
did for the team.
Ljungberg in there. You
And
can put Silva and
I
Wiltord
love
in there. You can
Bloomberg
put
and
No,
Jose
I
no, 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 no.
Farias in there.
Wiltord, stop with Wiltord.
Wiltord. Yeah, I stuck with Wiltord as well. Bloomberg and Perez, I don't think were underrated, but
I think they were so underrated, so
oh,
unbelievably underrated. But yeah, there was my midfield for Damien Duff. I think speaks for himself. I don't think people realize how devastating him and Robin was
did you have
that
did you have
first
Damien
season.
Duff, Monet?
Yeah.
I also had Damien Duff. I told you I could have a whole Irish 11. I think
um,
Damien Duff, like Carvalho, was Mourinho's underrated
yeah,
signing.
yeah. He was
I
like
think Damien
quietly.
Duff was. Oh, I think he was quality for a couple of seasons. He really did what he had to do on that. I had a lot of time for Damien Duff.
Yeah.
If we
That
had
doesn't.
if we had bought him, I would have been really happy. But I think he just
Um,
fitted in that team so well.
it was weird because I think when he left Chelsea, he was actually linked with you guys, but he never
Yeah, he
went. I think
was.
he went to Newcastle instead.
Yeah, but I
But
mean, he fitted in that Chelsea team so well. He clicked. And I didn't
oh,
think he was going to when he got. I was like, this doesn't seem like a good signing. He's just on the bench. He's not
him
going to
and
do much.
him and Robin on both sides of the heart was disgusting.
Well, yeah, I agree.
Who was the other midfielders now that you went with Damien Duff, Candice?
I had Damien Duff. I had Michael Carrick, and I
That's my
had
guy.
Yeah,
and
that's another
Park
one of your
Ji-sung,
nicknames.
Park Ji-sung,
Okay.
and Milner. I thought James
What's-
Milner was also quite underrated.
Who?
Yes.
James Milner,
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Park
agree.
Ji-sung.
And also the whole Michael Carrick only passes backwards thing must be one of the dumbest lies to ever come out of English football media because it's really not true. So yeah,
I don't
Michael
know who
Carrick
said
for me.
that. That's ridiculous.
I
Yeah.
also think it's ridiculous, but he stuck with it. Everyone wanted him to be Keane's replacement. You know, he got the same number. He needed to replace Keane. He was never Keane's replacement, but he did something different in that side. He definitely was not. I won't say United fans didn't appreciate him because we did, but a lot of
Yeah.
United fans also didn't see him for as good as he was.
I think if the England teams didn't stick so long with Barry, Carrick would have been
Yes, I agree.
that extra piece in that midfield just to push
I agree
England
with that.
sort of
And you know,
to
I
a
actually
better level.
just finished reading Michael Carrick's autobiography, and he said in the 2010 World Cup, he wasn't in it. Like his mind wasn't in it, his heart wasn't in it. It wasn't clicking. And I think there was a lot going on at the wrong time for Carrick to actually shine in that
Yeah, 'cause
England side.
they stuck with because Barry was their number one defensive. Barry and
Yeah.
Hargreaves was
Yeah,
the two
Hargreaves,
top
yeah.
I
defensive
love
midfielders.
Hargreaves, you know.
Hargreaves was so
Injuries
good.
messed him up.
Badly.
And then James Milner, I also feel underrated. I don't think by the English press though, if the English press had their way, James Milner would have been the new Steven Gerrard or whatnot. But because the English press overhyped him, everyone underrated him because they were like, "What are you going on about? He's not that good. He's not whatever. So then fans were like, oh, now he's automatically rubbish. You know what I mean? There was no middle ground with James Milner, I don't think.
Well, there's people that don't rate him now. I think he's doing a fantastic job for Liverpool. Wherever
No,
you
me
need him,
too.
he plays left
Yeah.
back, he plays right back, he'll play centre mid, he'll play in front three for you.
Agree. And then
Yeah,
Park Ji-sung was the last one because I feel the same thing. Park Ji-sung got done. Park Ji-sung man-marked you out of the game. No matter who you were, if Fergie needed someone out, Park Ji-sung took him out. If Fergie needed someone to run for 120 minutes, Park Ji-sung ran for 120 minutes. He tracked
Make
back,
him sound
he
like
went
a
forward.
hitman.
He was Fergie's hitman, and
This is his
I don't know.
face. You
I
don't
just
need
had
to know his name. Just look at his face. Take him out.
Not even in the
Yeah,
face. You're like,
just-
yeah,
just follow
just
him,
look at
that
this number. Just look
Yeah,
at number
that
10.
Follow that number.
And he did. He man-marked people out of the game. I think Park Ji-sung was very underrated. So
There was a great game when he kept Lampard completely. He shut Lampard down like it
he's
was
had so
nothing.
many people in his pocket. His pocket must be full of world-class players who didn't think they'd get the best of Park Ji-sung. And
Yeah,
but yeah, so those are my
N'Golo
four.
Kante is wearing the same pockets as Sung.
No,
It's-
N'Golo Kante plays every game week in week out. Park Ji-sung was only used.
No, he didn't. He was a hitman. He was a hitman.
Have you seen N'Golo Kante with hair?
Yeah,
Oh my god.
that's hilarious.
He look like,
Um,
Sadio
he look like,
Mane
he
looks
look,
the best though.
he look
Sadio
like,
Mane has a five
the
head,
front
not a
line
four head.
fact, yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen Park
Kante, when I
Ji-sung
saw
at
Kante with
other
hair, I saw it
Premier
was a
League
picture
teams.
of Liam.
I look more like a
Oh, yeah.
Aubameyang, but
Oh,
His
Aubameyang
hairline's
is
not looking great either,
horrible.
you know. Don't claim that.
Have you seen
yeah,
Firmino?
no, I
But
didn't.
with,
Firmino looks alright.
with Ji-sung, I do think he should have been in another Premier League team. I don't think the Premier League saw the best of him, but also I don't think a manager might have been able to manage him as well as Fergie did, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
because no manager put out contracts.
Bruv, do you see the team Ferguson won the league with in the last season?
Yeah.
I still can't get over how that was done. Anyways, let's go back.
Stuart, who
I
did
had,
Who did
I
you
had
say?
Duff as well. I had Milner, I had Carrick, and I had Gilberto Silva.
nice? Gilberto. Yep. I like Gilberto a lot.
I think very
Yeah, I
underrated.
also like him. I also like him.
He wasn't in the Prem long enough, in my opinion.
No.
But yeah, just an absolute machine that just made Arsenal tick.
Yeah.
Loved watching Gilberto. He wasn't your typical Brazilian. Like he wasn't flair, he wasn't flashy. He was just like, I'll get stuck in, do what I need to do to
Yeah.
keep the game going. Didn't take any accolades, didn't try and, get all the attention and everything like that. Drama free, just a solid player. Going back to Carrick, I think Carrick's probably the most underrated player of all time in the Premier
And
League.
he's English, and you think English would be like hyping him up, but yeah, I agree with you 100%. Carrick should be
I
number
don't
one.
know if it's the Tottenham stigma. I don't know, but he's the most underrated footballer. West Ham, then Tottenham, then Man United, and I think no, he was class. He was absolutely
I think
class.
Carrick has one of those football brains. His brain is football based. Like some
You can see
players.
that's why he's the second chair.
Yeah.
He's been the second chair at United for the last, I don't know, 2 coaches.
Yeah, I just feel that some players have that. Some players can play football, but they don't have that football brain. And some players have both. And I just say Carrick is definitely one of those that have complete control of both. He's just Carrick is quality.
Sees everything like the Matrix.
I'll throw a special mention out to Tim Cahill. I think if he was at a different club,
Nice
if
tidy
he was
little
at a
player.
different club, he definitely would have won a couple of trophies.
I think
he was class.
Tim Cahill was mine.
I know. Sucks that he's stuck at Everton, or he was stuck in Everton. But Corentin, your midfield 3, which is surprising first time.
Yeah, no, it's quite surprising. So I put Gilberto Silva as well.
Nice.
As a
Nice.
defensive midfielder, I put Wijnaldum and Wilshere in front of him.
Wijnaldum, Wilshere.
Yeah,
Wilshere,
Wilshere
that-
is underrated, man.
I think Wilshere is underrated as well.
he's
No, wait, guys.
Bro, he had like 1.5 seasons and then he just died.
He died. I don't think he had a. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Liam. I
Well,
don't have
he
words.
didn't he didn't die. His bones died.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
So
Liam.
he's done.
He's got glass
At least-
ankles.
at
I'm
least
telling you
Ledley
now,
King
if he
with his
if he
injuries
didn't
and
have
was still
glass
decent.
ankles, if
So
he didn't
Wilshere
have
would
glass
basically-
ankles, Wilshere would have been in the English team because he's the
So
only
Wilshere's in that
player
team with-
in England that can turn defense into attack in a matter of seconds. Not
So we're talking. So
Barkley.
Wilshere's in that same
Nobody
team
else
as
can
Wes
do
Brown
that.
and Ledley King, basically. I have glass
would say that.
bones, and we didn't
Glass
ever
ankles.
the injuries. Yeah, Wilshere, Ledley King, Wes Brown, they're in that team.
Jack Wilshere.
I like
of
Funny how.
course.
Yeah, funny
Jack
how they're all
Wilshere.
English.
I like Jorginho Wijnaldum. I thought he was class at
I think
but
he's quietly underrated. He's quietly underrated.
No, well, yeah,
Who's
but
that,
when you
Wijnaldum?
speak about
Yeah.
Liverpool, you will hear Bobby Firmino, Alisson, Van Dijk.
But not even that.
Salah,
I thought
Mane,
I
but
thi-
you never like with the
I-
game when he's playing, man, on the midfielder, he's a machine.
I know we're talking.
I'll say he's quietly
Yeah,
underrated.
I know we're talking Premier League, but
Yeah.
he's part of like Netherlands' slow resurgence back to where
Yeah,
they
as
were
well.
also.
Yeah.
I
He's
agree.
a calmer version of Nigel de Jong. Like
Way calmer. He's like on the
Gets the
opposite
job
side of the
done,
scale.
but
way
doesn't
calmer,
need to
like
take
way
down
calmer.
people's chest.
Less
Yeah.
flying kicks and
Wanted to put Mark Noble.
I wanted to.
Mark
Noble's
Noble
a
is
good
actually
shot. He's a good shot.
You know the
I
other
had
one,
him as a mention.
Kevin Nolan as well.
Kevin Nolan, yeah.
And what do you think of
Yeah.
Musa Sissoko? Underrated or no?
What? Wait, which one? The one currently
Musa.
playing or
Oh,
Musa,
no,
Musa, the one that he took the ball and he ran through people.
Yeah, he's underrated. The Spurs one.
Musa Sissoko is another one, definitely.
The Spurs
No,
one, yeah,
because
definitely.
the Spurs one, yeah, that I'd
Yeah,
agree with.
first one, yeah. After you have Ndidi as well.
Oh, and Diddy's class as well.
I think he's
I'm taking
too
my
young
team.
to be underrated right now.
Yeah, that's why I didn't put it.
Yeah, I was gonna say as well. I don't think he's a bit still young on that
Yeah,
sense.
because I mean, I rate him massively, Wilfred,
Yeah.
and I would have loved Arsenal to have gotten him like 2-3 years ago when he was up for grabs.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's old enough to be classified as underrated yet.
True.
And after the last one I put is my bench. It's the old one, Steve Malbranck.
Steed Malbranck.
Ah,
Steed.
Steve. Oh.
Did he, how many caps
I
does
still
he have
want
for
to know.
France?
None. That's why.
I don't think
He
played
never
for
played
France.
for France.
I don't think
Wow.
he played.
But
Never
but
played.
I'm sure he was in a setup or something. He was maybe in the squad or
I
something.
still wonder how
No,
his parents were
no,
like,
no,
look
never.
at this child, and
I
then
think he
this
never
is the
been
baby,
called.
and we're gonna name him Steed. Like this is it. Oh, baby Steed.
It
Steve
might be
Malbranck.
short for like the French name.
No, it's
he
Steed.
he never
His
played.
real name is Steed Claude Malbranck, and he's a Belgian-born French footballer.
Why didn't they just call him Claude? It's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
Claude, man. When you're called
Steed. That's what I'm
Claude, when you're
saying,
fucking,
Steed.
you're born, you're already 80 years old, man.
Yeah, he played France under 16, France under 18, France under 21.
Yeah, but only
Yeah.
seven,
And that's it.
seven appear. From 1996 to 2002, you have only seven appears in France.
He has no senior caps.
But he
2002
played, but
French.
he did his main career in England because he started
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
Lyon.
with Fulham. He was with Fulham forever.
Yeah, Fulham,
Yes, he
Sunderland,
was.
and Sunderland as well. He was for Sunderland for long, yeah.
He was part of that Fulham side
Oh,
with
yeah,
Luis
there we go.
Pomorte
In-
and Luis Saha and them.
That Fulham
It-
side
it-
was quality.
That Fulham side.
that Fulham side
beat
was
Juventus
quality.
in
Yeah.
the Europa League. I think it was the quarterfinals, and they beat Juve after Juve obviously got their relegation or whatever. But they were still Juve. They still had Buffon and some other good players.
Yeah, that
Um,
Fulham side was quality.
That's when they had Dempsey just clapping goals for fun.
Yeah, they had Dempsey. I think they had Luis Pomorte. They had
What was that American?
Bobby
Is it
Zamora.
Johnson? Something Johnson? Did he play? He played for Fulham.
Hello?
yes, the striker.
Yeah, the American. Was he
Who?
American? Or is
Yeah.
he English? No, he was English. The bald
Dempsey,
Oh no, he's English, man. Andy Johnson.
Andy
one.
Johnson.
Andy Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, Andy Johnson. Yeah, Fulham had some quality sides, and it just
Eggs,
all fell apart.
your
And Roy Hodgson was their manager at the time
yeah.
when he had all those players.
Yeah.
No, they were absolute gems there. Did you mention Bobby Zamora already?
Oh,
mentioned
Bobby.
I mentioned Bobby.
The original Bobby.
Higgs, do you go with your midfield,
So
please?
of course, I'm so happy everyone said Carrick. That was one of my that was my Facebook name actually. But so I went with him. I also went with Milner, of course. I had to respect that. I thought about
Yeah.
Gilberto Silva, and I also thought about Lucas from Liverpool.
Lucas Leiva, yeah, is another one.
Yeah. But then I thought about Noble too. I just forgot it.
Nobody
You
has
lot made
what?
me think
Musa
of it. You lot made me-
Sissoko.
Yes, Musa Dembele. That's it.
Musa Dembele.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
He
From
was
Spurs. Yeah.
quality.
He was
Yeah, I
underrated.
agree.
Absolutely.
He was
Mus-
underrated. Definitely. I
quality.
agree.
The way he dribbles with the ball and like whatever. That's what I thought
Like
Pogba
whatever.
was gonna be.
Dribbles, kills people. No, I agree with you.
Powerful.
You couldn't
Guys-
get the ball off him. He was just
Yeah.
insane.
It's just he didn't score a lot of goals, so everyone was like, "Oh, he's not that." Shut up. Quality.
No, but he was always like in the shadows of Modric and then Ericsson.
Crenshaw.
That's why he left for the
Oh.
money.
No,
Yeah.
he left because he said he couldn't handle the Premier League anymore. His body was getting too old and
Yeah,
too
but
sore.
yeah,
he
but
couldn't recover.
look for the World Cup, he didn't do that much, with Belgium.
No.
But
Yeah,
he
but
didn't-
when you got so many
have players like KDB, Hazard and
Witzel.
whatnot. Yeah.
Witzel's a player, Fellaini.
How much are you really gonna shine in that midfield?
Fellaini was overrated. I think that
So
Belgium
overrated.
team in the World Cup was overrated.
No, they weren't. There were some
wait,
players that
Belgium
was
team had-
class.
no one underrated. They just didn't live to their potential.
That makes it overrated.
Yeah.
No, they weren't overrated. No, they weren't overrated. They were definitely rated right. The players just didn't turn up.
Yeah, but
They
look
were
against
rated
Japan.
right.
Look how they struggle against Japan first.
Yeah, true. Eggs. Speaking of strikers,
Ego shadow.
give us your three forwards. Who did you go with?
On the left,
Underrated.
On the left, I went with Perez.
Perez. Yeah,
Bobby.
yeah, Bobby Perez.
Yeah. I went with Perez. On the right, who did I go with on the right?
Man, are you writing your team or you just say name like that?
No, I'm just saying it from football knowledge. I'm just thinking about the Premier League from 1990 to now. So I'm just getting bare names in my head. It's getting crazy. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, I was watching the English league before it was Prem. Sorry.
Born in 1990.
Who told you? You ain't even seen my passport. Get out of it.
He's Nigerian
Born
after
in
all.
93 or 94.
Man, he's
That's what his-
Nigerian.
that's what his passport said.
He born in 78, but his passport in 94 and 5. You can't realize. Trust me, you see him, you can't realize.
I can't shock it. I think Nicholas Anelka is very underrated.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
I
I
agree.
don't think he was
No,
underrated.
in the Premier League.
No,
Oh my-
I don't think so.
Woo!
If he was
the Premier
underrated,
League.
the club. If he was underrated, the club
Arsenal,
support him would never have bought him.
Liverpool.
I don't think. Yeah,
Eggs,
I
I'll
don't think he
second
was
that.
And they
underrated.
all sold him.
I'll second
Yeah,
that.
He's
but
a
because he
dick.
didn't do what he was supposed to do. He was never underrated. They all gave him a chance. He was definitely rated. Else they would not have bought him. Those clubs didn't buy talent, like coming up talent at that period. They bought ready-made. At
No,
that
they
time.
never made him the guy. We put him on a pedestal. Well, it was the number 2 spot, but we
Yeah.
put him on a pedestal at Chelsea, and he did well for us.
And I went with.
He did
we
well.
never really
Only 59 goals for a striker in 184 games. He's bad.
underrated, man. That's not. Nah, he
No,
played
that's
on,
bad.
on the
That's
flanks
just
a lot.
bad.
He did play on the flanks a lot for Chelsea. Don't worry, Eggs, I'm
With,
back here.
Another one. We've never really mentioned his name when we've been debating recently. I went with Berbatov.
Dimitar
class.
Berbatov.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was class for.
that was the man. Yeah, that was the guy. That one.
He was
And,
class for Tottenham. He was class for us. He was even class for Fulham when he done a little spell there.
What a man.
Yeah, that was my guy.
Berbatov's touch was disgusting.
I'll give
He
you
was
that. I
definitely
think
not
Berbatov's
underrated by me,
underrated.
but oh, what a man.
Stuart, your front three? Front two, sorry.
For midfielders, I think Defoe was underrated.
Jermaine
Big
Defoe.
debate about Jermaine.
Went to the same school.
Okay.
Same
think
ones.
we had-
Jermaine
we had-
Defoe.
What?
I think we had a heated debate about Defoe the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and nobody really thought about him besides X and myself. And I think he's underrated. I think all the clubs that we have never been big clubs.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this including Tottenham, not a big club. Obviously, just followed Harry really, like Nico Crenshaw.
He did, yeah.
Portsmouth, and then he ended up Sunderland and all other kinds of stuff. Toronto, but I think for somebody that's how many goals he scored? 162 goals. He scored.
Yeah.
He's like third time on the Prem or fourth time on the all-time Prem or something like that.
And he adapts wherever he goes, no matter the climate. He's been all around the country.
An actual goal scorer.
Yeah.
Almost 500 games. He just does what he needs to do. He's the ultimate striker. You give him the ball, he's going to score goals. But I don't think a big club never came for him. Why? I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
I agree.
But I don't know why a bigger club never came for him. I don't know why he didn't go to a club that had the potential to win Premier League titles.
I think he also got injured at the wrong time, Stuart.
Yeah. He missed,
I think that's one of
was
them.
it
Yeah.
2002 or 2004, that Euro when Rooney went?
Yes, yes.
Defoe was
think he
supposed
got
to be part of
injured.
that squad, yeah.
I think he got injured at the wrong time for big clubs to come in for him. I think that was a bit of a worry for bigger clubs. Smaller clubs knew they'd get goals worth their money, but I think bigger clubs are a bit worried if we're going to buy you, and we play a lot more games than the smaller clubs do because we have Champions League and we have, whatever else. Are you going to be able to last this long? I think that might have been one of the bigger clubs' concerns, just
But
thinking
to
about
be
it.
fair, he was great off the bench as well.
Yeah, he was. I also had Defoe. I picked Defoe too because I just think as well, like Stuart says, he scored wherever he went. He put it away. No matter who was there providing for him, Jermaine Defoe put the ball in the back of the net.
Stuart, who was your second striker?
It was Ole Gunnar.
Ole Gunnar.
We had the same, Stuart. High five. High five.
COVID high five.
High five.
Solskjaer, yeah.
Started the underrated Solskjaer. I think that treble winning season would not have happened without him. He was always this impact off the bench guy. So people never saw him as like an out and out like Man United starter.
Yeah, but also Solskjaer had a very good run on the right wing too. When we didn't have a right winger, he did a job there for us when he started. When he came off the bench, he made headlines for scoring late goals, but he could put the ball in the back of the net.
But as the saying goes,
he was insane goals definitely, but he knew. He said even like in his own words, sitting on the bench, he knew he'd come on and score. He can feel it. He knew when it was his day, and he knew when it wasn't. Like
but you also
had that knack.
You get to a situation where if it's not broken, don't fix it. He was good off the bench, so.
Of course, yeah, and but
why not?
Obviously, York and Cole got the accolades because together York and Cole were unstoppable. Teddy Sheringham at that stage was one of England's blue-eyed boys. Everyone loved Teddy Sheringham. And then you had Ole, who just did what he had to do, and he did it.
Ole. Corentin, your three strikers? Feels weird to ask you for three strikers. But anyway.
I put Robert Pires.
Thank you. Olivier Pires.
Olivier Giroud. Sorry.
Nice.
And and on the other side, I put Lucas Moura.
Lucas Moura? Like the current.
Yeah, the current.
Lucas Moura.
Yeah.
That was...
Very
underrated. Before I put Lucas Moura.
Were you both?
Yeah, but Nani. No, I don't like Nani.
No,
I think it was overrated.
No, I think Nani
overrated.
I just don't think he again reached anything that he was potential. He wasn't overrated. He just didn't live up to anything.
Mate, just to prove you,
that's
Lucas
the
Moura
definition of
underrated.
overrated, though. Hold on. If I say oh, this guy is going to be insane. And the whole world says this guy's going to be great. He's the next Ronaldo. He's da-da-da-da-da. And then he doesn't become that. That means that you've overrated him.
Yeah, in a way, but also so at the same time, overrated could be like, oh, this is. Some people have like he's overrated, but he doesn't have the talent. Like you just expect him to be great because he's this nationality, but the talent
Yeah,
is
but
never ever there.
Nani had the talent, but
Nani
like
definitely had the talent.
he had the talent, but I just think he was
But I don't think he
overrated
was-
because they hyped him up as the next Ronaldo and the
I don't
new.
think he. You think so?
Yeah,
I don't think he was
No, but
overrated.
Lucas
I
Moura,
think he got a lot of slack actually.
Lucas
Nani
Moura
took
is
a lot.
overrated.
he's
he's
underrated.
Roy was
overrated.
overrated.
Lucas
Yeah, I
Moura
think
How
is
can he be?
I think
overrated.
so.
How can he be overrated when the guy came? Everyone is enjoying Tottenham. They said, "Oh, the last choice is to put Lucas Moura against Ajax." The guy scored a hat trick, and the final he put him on the
He's
bench. This
no,
is
But
what
you're looking at
proves
it
he's
in that
underrated.
way.
no,
Do you know
but
when,
not.
do you know when Lucas
It's not
Moura was
just.
signed? When Lucas Moura was signed firstly from PSG, he was signed. He was the hottest prospect in the world. He was meant to be hard. He was meant to
No,
be
he wasn't the
Yeah.
hottest
They
prospect.
signed him.
I think he was
Oh,
was
underrated at
when they
PSG.
signed
He was
when PSG
underrated.
signed him, every
No,
team wanted him because he went
when
to the
PSG
Olympics.
signed him, yeah.
Liam's right.
When-
Everyone wanted Lucas Moura at
When
one stage.
PSG wanted him
When
at one
when
stage, yeah.
PSG wanted him, everybody wanted him, and then he fell by
Yeah.
the wayside at PSG, and then
Yep.
I mean he got.
But
go from
that
PSG
because
to Tottenham is a huge step backwards. Let's be honest.
I think there's a difference between being overrated and being a prospect. When he went to PSG, he was a prospect at being this great player.
Nani was a prospect at being a.
I
No,
agree.
he wasn't.
Yeah, but
No,
He
he
was a
wasn't.
prospect.
How old
He was a
he was?
prospect.
He was already 40 when he came to Man United. How old he was then?
Oh, see what I'm saying?
Nani was a prospect.
Nani
I
and
agree with
Lucas Moura were
Liam.
near enough the same age when they made the moves to
Yeah,
Mm.
I agree with
PSG
Liam.
and to Man United.
Maybe I just hate
Alright.
Lucas Moura
Nani.
came with a bigger price tag as well.
Yes, a much bigger prospect. I
but
agree.
because he came,
Yeah,
because
but
he
look,
came
yeah,
to,
but look
yeah,
at
but-
price tags now. Come
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
price tags
fair
now
enough,
compared
yeah.
to then are
I'm not gonna
completely
lie. I'm
different.
not gonna lie. Lucas Moura only went to PSG like a year after or two. So
No.
After
I'm
what?
lying. Which year Nani went to Man United?
2008, no?
Yeah,
8, 9?
2013.
No.
Lucas Moura moved in 2013 to Paris.
It can't have been. It must have been 2012. Straight
No,
up.
No.
2013.
No. He's not. He hasn't been around for that long. Well, I say not that long. It's 7 years. But it's
Look
crazy.
at his hairline.
Nani was in
Over
Manchester
30.
United 2007.
Zidane had a bald spot in 98 and still played until 2006. Like
Nani-
almost
Nani
a decade
Nani
later.
had 80. You know, Nani had 80 goal contributions at Man United and 140.
Yeah,
Oh my
Nani
God.
wasn't terrible. I don't think Nani was
Bro.
terrible.
Yeah, but have you seen what Nani did on the Ronaldo when you go to score and the guy put his head and he was offside? Remember? I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah,
That
I
was
remember that.
disgusting. Ronaldo wanted to punch him.
I'll finish off on my two forwards. Nothing flashy, nothing special, just pure out-and-out goal scorers. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Jimmy Floyd. Don't tell me he's been rated by people. He hasn't
Alright.
for what
Well,
he's
by
done.
me, absolutely. I've said Jimmy Floyd for
Yeah,
every
Stuart
for
loves
every
Jimmy
single
Floyd.
for
Stuart
every
loves Jimmy
single
Floyd.
podcast that we've done. I've
Yeah.
been hyping.
Yeah,
He
you
mentioned him.
you've
He
blowed
was-
his horn.
He even
was
hoped
not
Jimmy
underrated.
Floyd was African.
He's underrated. He's so underrated.
I don't
and
think
he's-
he's underrated.
Fair enough. Let's agree to disagree. Another one.
I love
I stole
Jimmy,
this.
you know
I
I
stole
love
this
Jimmy.
from. I stole this. Jimmy. I stole this from last week. But Ayegbeni Yakubu.
Yakubu was my special. Yeah, Yakubu
how
was my
how
special
is he?
mention.
Tell me how
He
he's
was-
overrated.
He was
Tell
my
me how
special
he's
mention.
overrated.
He was
I'm not saying
definitely-
he's overrated, but I don't think he was underrated. I don't think
He
people
was. He
were like,
was.
oh, Yakubu's rubbish. Like nobody
Think-
wants him.
Okay. I
think
apologize.
lots of
I
people say
apologize.
Yakubu's rubbish.
Yeah, I apologize, Candice and Liam, but Yakubu, if Yakubu, in the same way that Igalo went to United now, in that time, if you guys got Yakubu, you would have been happy, right?
I agree. Yeah, 100%. No, I agree with you. But I
He's
do think- I
underrated
do
in
think
the
he was
sense that
underrated. I
nobody
do.
thought that he was good enough to make a jump to a big club, but I
Yeah,
thought
I
he
agree.
was. He never
agree
stopped
with you.
scoring. He was
He scored-
composed in front of goal.
He scored
And-
over 12 goals in 7 different seasons.
Yeah, he
That's
was
pretty
fantastic.
good.
And
Yeah.
people don't ever talk
he is
about
good.
him.
I'm not saying he's not good. I think Yakubu was very good.
Anywho, that
I'll
was
say
Feed the
special
yak.
mention for
Feed
That-
the yak
a
and he
person
shall
that's
score.
playing now that I love watching, and I do think he's underrated because of the team that he's in and his reputation and whatever, is Troy Deeney.
Troy Deeney. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I think
I
he's
don't like him as a
class.
footballer. I think he's
He is
underrated.
Class.
I don't-
Someone Amir Mornay was actually talking about before the rest of you decided to come in late was someone who I definitely think he was underrated. And Mornay, we're gonna
Unnecessary
get
shot.
backlash. Mornay, we're gonna get backlash now on this one, I think. But
100%.
he was underrated in the sense that he made headlines for everything else. David Beckham was an underrated
Oh
footballer.
no.
Oh my
Yes, he
God.
was.
I'm gonna,
Oh,
Monet, it was a pleasure. See you later.
No, think about it. No, I'm gonna
Think about
rephrase
it.
it.
Okay,
The way.
let's
No,
As a
wait. Listen.
footballer,
No.
He
Let me
was
just.
underrated
Let's-
in football.
Monet,
He
go
was.
Monet.
Guys.
Let's think
Let me
about
just
it.
speak.
Let's
Let me
think
just
about it.
speak for 2 seconds.
Man United won trophies and was
I
a
knew this.
starter for Man United.
Let
every
me
single season.
let me just
He
speak about.
fought to
Oh
Real
my God.
Madrid during the Galacticos
Okay, we
era
all know.
of Zidane, Fat
I'm gonna let you
Ronaldo,
finish, and then I'll
Raul,
go.
Guti,
But in English
Roberto
football,
Carlos,
in
Casillas.
English
Okay.
football, but in
Okay,
English football, he was
Candice,
underrated.
let me
Yeah,
run it
go
down.
Monet.
So
Go Monet.
basically, the way we pieced it together, myself and Candice.
Yeah.
Yes, David Beckham was a superstar. The world knew him. He was married to the who's it, Victoria
Girl.
Beckham, the Spice Girl. He was this new young-looking Englishman. He was all over magazines, GQ, Top 40, whatever it's called. He was a star, but everybody knew him for the free kicks, and that's about it. Nobody looked at him as a actual footballer. The Galacticos. When he went to Real Madrid, wait, listen.
But
When he went to the
seen him
Galacticos,
Have you
listen,
ever
let
seen
me
him
finish.
one-on-one?
when he
Let
wait,
me
when he
finish.
went to the
I can't
Galacticos,
accept
Florentino
He does-
Perez, or whoever was there with the Galacticos, they just bought name players, same as Abramovich when he first
Exactly.
came.
They
So
didn't
he
buy
bought
Beckham,
he
they
bought
for his
Beckham for a
brand.
star. Yeah, they
As
bought
a
Beckham
brand,
as a
yeah.
brand to sell shirts.
I
Okay.
agree,
I-
and I don't, guys. I'm not, and because we're talking about
We're
Premier
not
League, I think,
we're not putting in the team, but we're saying
yeah,
like
we're
just
saying
in
that
general. I think
general.
he was underrated as
No.
a footballer.
Yeah,
No.
I think so
No.
as well.
No.
I definitely
Well,
think so.
Beckham,
if anybody wants to
in world-
comment and
in world
just
football- in world
The
football,
fact that he
yes,
still
I can
plays in all
understand that.
these,
In world football, I
AC
can
Milan,
understand Beckham
PSG,
getting
Real
rated,
Madrid, not a
but
chance.
not in
but
the Premier League.
he was born as
Definitely
a
not in the Premier
brand.
League.
He was underrated in the Premier League. I think more so than in
Oh my
Spain.
God.
I think more so.
I think
the
no,
stats-
I think when David Beckham moved to centre mid, people started to appreciate him more as a footballer
yeah, me
because
too.
he
But
actually
also,
played that role really well.
look at all these testimonials Beckham still plays in. You can still see he has it, man. Compared to some other old players, they come and they were
Scholes is gonna
great
have
in
it
their
till he's
prime.
about 90.
They were good. Yeah, but of course. But Beckham and Scholes both have that brain in them. They can stand there and they can ping. Yeah, I don't.
Anyway.
But anyway, I knew morning.
We shouldn't.
I knew that was going to.
We knew that was gonna rival.
Yeah.
We should have done that before we started recording.
Yeah.
Well, there you have it. If you're enjoying the content we're putting out, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to leave a like. See you guys next week.